Well, I've decided on the rock that I'm going to use for the eyeball. It's a little on the thin side, but I think I can work with it. This was cut, this slab was cut from a longer piece of rock, and that's what I'm going to use. I need to determine where I'm going to set my pattern. Because I'm going to trace a circle with this template here, or template, and I think I'm going to be using a 7/8 inch diameter. That looks pretty good there. Don't you think? What do you think?
Where's that little eye shape we thought we saw before?
You like that better? Okay.
I think I do.
Alright. 7/8. Have that as the center?
Yes.
Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and use a brass rod that I've put a point on, and I'm going to trace around it. That way, when I get to the tile saw, I'll have something to guide me to take off the rough edges. Okay, that's the first part. All right, let's go cut it out roughly, and then we'll continue. Now, before I start trimming, I need to let you know that these diamond blades are relatively, are actually very safe with regard to cutting yourself. The only thing you have to kind of be careful with is your fingernails. They have a tendency, the diamond blade has a tendency to kind of give you a little manicure. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get my my battery. Looks like it's kind of low, so I'm going to plug the camera in. Be right back. Something I didn't mention, there is a continuously flowing water bath just underneath the diamond blade. The whole idea behind that is it keeps the blade cool, and the rock keeps the rock cool also. That prevents fracturing of the rock, and it also prevents premature wearing of the diamond blade. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. You might want to turn your volume down a little bit. The saw is kind of loud. I need to go get my ear protection. I'll be right back. So now I've finished cutting out the eye, and it's in a rough. It's just a slab right now. And what I'm going to show you is how I take this and turn it into a cabochon that I'm going to be using as the iris, as the eyeball. Okay? What I'm doing right now is heating up wax. It's called daubing wax. And this is a daubing stick. It's basically just a dowel. You make them in different sizes, and the wax will adhere to the daubing stick, and then you can secure your stone on the daubing stick. Okay, the next step is to grind the piece of stone with a diamond wheel to get the dome shape or cabochon shape. This is the unit that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to where the action is, and we'll get started. Right now I have a 100 grit diamond wheel. I just installed it. There was an 80 grit on it previously, smaller diameter, but I think we've pretty much worn that one out. It's seen better days. You'll notice I have a sponge here, and it's in a bath of water. And what it does is it keeps the saw wheel, the grinder. I'm sorry, not the saw. The grinder lubricated and cool. So here is my stone, and I still have left the little ring I traced around it, so that that will be my guide. I don't want to go too far into that ring. Hopefully my wax will hold together. Can you see that? That's the daubing wax. Again, I'm just going along the perimeter, pretty much perpendicular with the wheel. Trying to keep the shoulder at right angles to the flat surface. And I also want to pay attention not to spend too much time either on the same place on the stone and the same place on the grinding wheel. Now periodically I take a good look at it and I watch to see how close I am to the line that's drawn on there. I'd like to end up with a perfect circle. now. And actually, this line, I have to correct myself. The line I drew on here is not the line I'm going to be following. This was a mistake. I meant to draw the line on the other side, so I did. So I have to keep an eye on this line and not this line. This line will disappear once I start forming the cab. And cab, that's just short for cabochon. Go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'll turn it back on when I'm done. Now that I've got it as round as it's going to get, what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start putting a bevel all the way around, and I'm going to end up in a dome, hopefully. So I present the stone to the wheel about a 45-degree angle, and I just gradually turn the daubing stick in the stone. Little by little, it'll grind it down, and it'll start presenting a profile. I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to round off the top. Okay, we'll come back in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and change the angle now. I'm going to start doming it more, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Can you see that profile? Hope you can. Something you have to watch out for in these type of rocks is that there's an inconsistency in the density of the rock. So some portions of the rock wear away much quicker than other portions. So you kind of have to keep an eye on it. No pun intended. You have to keep an eye on it to make sure that it's being, the stone is being removed equally. I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to dome now. Now some people like to scribe a line with a marker along the edge so that their shoulder is the same height all the way around. I'm most likely gonna, it's not critical in this application, so I'm not gonna do it. I'll just eyeball it. Here we go again. I'm almost there. I like the little color, little bits of pink and red that it has in this stone. Now this is just about as far as I can take this stone on this wheel. I could go over to this 220, but I really don't need to right now. Monday, my wife and I attend a gym and mineral club meeting, and we usually take our partially completed cabochons there so that we can go all the way to 14,000 grit, and at that point it's just it's like glass. It's just really smooth and shiny. So we'll go ahead and pick it up then.